Well, Troops, what a difference in that performance today. I mean, right for the jump, Clement makes the big decision to drop Goldson, something that a lot of the Rangers fans have been crying out for a couple of weeks now at least. Obviously, he's played a lot of games, he looks tired, he's been making mistakes, but he also displays a bit of faith in Dujon Sterling, despite him coming out during the week and being, a bit upfront, a bit abrupt with his words, which I know most of us as the fans actually enjoyed, because it was like the polar opposite for what Clement done in the media. And he also makes that decision to leave out Fabio Silva, bring in Matondo on the left, Sima on the right, sticking with Dessers up front, and obviously Diamonde had returned back to the team. So from the go today, I was feeling a bit more confident, although I wouldn't say my confidence levels were high due to the recent performances we've seen for this team. But not to worry, because really early on in the match, Dessers gets his chance and for once actually takes it first time. I'm sure it was first time in the first goal. I know the second one was second go around, but that's what I mean about today. It was a good performance. It wasn't the best performance we've ever seen. I'd be lying if I said that. But what I really noticed today was that everybody in that park looked hungry. Everybody also get pass marks. This is the strange thing about being a Rangers fan. You go from Dundee and Ross County, two of the most lethargic performances that we can remember in recent times, to that today where everybody looked hungry. They wanted to win. It was a semi-final and they wanted to get to the final. They want the opportunity of achieving a double, maybe even a treble. I mean, if our season wasn't big enough, we've just went and sealed the cup final 25th of May, Old Firm Cup final. We are razors close end to the season in the title run as well. Dear oh dear man, this season has been carnage to say the least. Now again, some people at least have been vocal about Clement's decisions over the last couple of games, obviously starting Sterling in the bench and putting up the courage to take Goldson out the team, replace him with Balogun. Some questions around not making decisions early enough and how he spoke to the media, but let's be honest, he got it absolutely spot on today and it's paid off. And it's paid off big time. Now, like I say, I don't think it was an absolutely dominant display by Rangers, but I think there was so many positives to take away for that game. I mean, obviously, you know where I'm going to start. Mr. Chop It Back, Mr. Chopper, Mr. Chop Suey himself, Dessers, takes us to the cup final, gets his double. I mean, how he's not took that shot near the end of the game and instead slipped in Fabio Silva, who's even in front of goal, an open goal, still wants to have a dive. No, I'm kidding, but that was unfortunate. But I mean, it was really good play with Dessers. The angle obviously at the front post was really tight. I think most strikers are probably going to try and take the shot, get their hat-trick in the semi-final, but if it was any other opportunity, let's say we're drawing nothing each, or it wasn't a cup semi-final, I think the right decision, 9 out of 10 times there, is to slip in Silva for a pass in. Unfortunately, he just trips up, fumbles, and he doesn't get his name on the score sheet. Now, I think there was a number of things from Dessers today. Obviously, he gets his 2 goals, so that's a difference for some of the other games. But there was a few times the day where I'm sure you noticed that this guy decided he could jump, that he could go up for a header and win a flick on, that he could be a bit more physical and use that physicality. I mean, me and Andy have literally just done a podcast, caning the guy for his lack of physicality, put out a social media post going, is this the right guy for us now? I'm not saying after one game that he's now a star striker, keep him and stick with him. Again, new to the end of the season will determine that, I suppose, for most people. If he can do the same, get more goals in more important games, take us to a league title and a treble perhaps, then I'm pretty sure most people will say, right, stick around. But today just goes to show that there is something in there, and that's, again, the frustrating thing. Like I say, being a Rangers fan, it's frustrating because you come from Ross County and Dundee where it's lacklustre, there's absolutely no quality. Now, our quality wasn't the highest today, but what really changed it for me was everybody chasing the ball. I mean, wanting to get the ball back, flying into tackles, winning important 50-50s, winning your duel. There was no passengers being carried in the park today. And you see what happens when that's the case. Obviously, it was a shame to see Abdallah Sima come off the park early, but then Ross McCausland gets brought on in his place. And I thought Ross McCausland had an absolutely wonderful game. I mean, the boy is lightning fast. He just looked full of confidence today. He was desperate to get on the ball. He was desperate to run at the Hearts defence. Overall, just working hard. You can see when Ross loses the ball, he's desperate to get it back whenever he makes a mistake. He's just a frightening player, honestly. And it was really good, obviously not under the best sort of circumstances with Sima going off early because of the niggle that he's feeling. But, I mean, what a good backup player to have in Ross McCausland. That was just one of many players today who played particularly well. Another shout out goes to Big Balogun as well, because I mean, Balogun's not played a lot of football. Obviously, we know Balogun is almost always reliable, but he just gave a calming presence in that defence today. I mean, he's just so clinical when it comes to winning big tackles at big moments. He's just a cool head on the ball, and he's just willing to put himself about. So for him to come into the team in such a big game really just goes to show you the type of mentality and the type of player that Leon Balogun is. We've got Jack Butland again. He saves one early on in the game, or maybe it's near the end of the first half. Obviously the guy gets flagged offside, but it's a great save, and then he saves one near the death of the game as well. Another big save. The guy's just so reliable when it comes to these big moments in big games. So that's another player who, it's just an honour to have this guy in your team, you know. His shot stopping's impeccable. He's reliable, and again, whenever that defence does get penetrated, it's such a good guy to have in goals, because you know you've got that one last line of defence that's Jack Butland. Now here's the enigma for me today. It's Todd Cantwell. I thought obviously Dessers got man of the match, but for me Todd Cantwell was unplayable today. He was phenomenal, and obviously Cantwell, we know he's got that about him. We know he's got the sort of flair plays. We know he can be energetic at time, and he likes to get, you know, right and about it. He's no shying out of tackles, and he's really good with the ball at his feet at creating chances and putting opponents on the back foot. But for me, his performance today had everything. I mean, his link-up play, he wasn't being selfish, where at times in the past he's been known to hang on to the ball for too long. I mean, for that second Dessers goal, the run he makes is tremendous. This is the sort of performance that we need week in, week out for Todd Cantwell, where he is just a powerhouse in that midfield, where he's playing with his chest puffed out. He wants to get on the ball, he wants to score goals, create goals, throw himself into tackles, and none of these antics with the ref or with other players, you know. Just get your head down, get on with the game. You're a good player, but we need it on a more consistent basis. And again, I feel like I'm just going through the team individual by individual, but Big Dujon Sterling, obviously, people were questioning whether Clement would stick by him and put him in at the left back area, obviously because his comments through the week. People were also questioning whether Lundstrom would drop out and Dujon would be put in the central area. But for me, again, Mr. Reliable shows up, cup semi-final, just, I don't think he made a mistake all day. He was being a real nuisance going forward as well, which I think at times is obviously probably the weaker part of his game. I mean, he's great defensively, he's got the pace. I'm not saying he can't attack, but obviously playing on his unnatural left side, sometimes he finds it hard to get into the positions to cross the ball in. But we've seen him, he was really just tormenting that Hearts right back in numerous spells today. He wasn't sure whether he was going to go to the byline or whether he was going to cut in and play an in-swinging cross with his right foot. All in all, just great performance for Dujon as well. Really, the whole team, subs that come on the park, it was a pleasure to watch. It's just so annoying that we know this is the sort of level that we can get out of this Rangers team, and sometimes like over the last week, we fail to see that, and it's not just a drop of maybe 1 or 2 levels. The floor comes out from underneath us, and everybody doesn't show up at the one time, and it costs us majorly. Today wasn't one of those days. I'm sure everybody was a bit apprehensive going into the game, but we managed to get the job done, and it's on to the 25th. Double, treble, if we take care of business in the league. It's a good day.